On the night of June 30th, 1520, Spanish soldiers carrying stolen Aztec gold tried to escape across a narrow causeway. The ones who refused to drop their treasure drowned in the dark water below. That gold, estimated at 8 tons, is still somewhere beneath Mexico City. This is the story of La Noche Triste, the single most expensive night in the history of the New World. A fortune that would be worth over $500 million today, lost in a few hours of chaos, blood, and greed. And the reason nobody has recovered it isn't because they can't find it. It's because an entire city was built on top of it. When Hernán Cortés and his 600 soldiers first entered Tenochtitlan in November of 1519, they walked into the richest city in the Western Hemisphere. Montezuma II ruled over an empire of 5 million people. His treasury was legendary. One of Cortés's soldiers, Bernal Díaz del Castillo, later described rooms filled to the ceiling with gold plates, masks, animal figures, and jewelry, all masterworks of Aztec metalcraft. But Cortés wasn't interested in art. Within weeks, he ordered his men to melt the gold objects down into uniform bars, centuries of Aztec artistry reduced to stackable ingots. He carefully separated the king's fifth, 20% of everything, legally owed to the Spanish crown. That portion alone weighed over a ton. The total haul, somewhere between 4 and 8 tons of gold, plus silver, jade, turquoise, and featherwork. By June 15th, 20, the situation had collapsed. Montezuma was dead. The Aztec population was in open revolt. Cortés made the decision to retreat under cover of darkness. The plan was simple: cross the causeway that connected the island city to the mainland, carrying as much treasure as possible. The causeway had 8 gaps spanned by removable wooden bridges the Aztecs had already pulled out. It went wrong almost immediately. The Aztecs attacked from canoes on both sides. Warriors swarmed the causeway. In the darkness and chaos, soldiers had to make an instant choice: drop the gold and fight, or hold onto it and try to run. Many chose the gold. When they reached the gaps in the causeway, soldiers weighed down with treasure couldn't jump across. They fell into the shallow lake below, and in full armor, carrying 30 or 40 pounds of gold bars, they sank. Their bodies and their treasure formed a bridge that others scrambled across. By dawn, 600 Spanish soldiers and 1,000 Tlaxcalan allies were dead. Cortés reached the shore and reportedly sat beneath a cypress tree and wept. Here's the problem with recovering this treasure. Lake Texcoco doesn't exist anymore. Over the following centuries, the Spanish colonial government systematically drained the lake system. Mexico City expanded across the dry lake bed. Today, the route of that causeway runs roughly along a major avenue called Calzada Mexico-Tacuba. There are apartment buildings, shops, and metro stations on top of it. But every few decades, the treasure sends a reminder. In 1981, during a construction project near Alameda Central Park, workers found a large gold bar weighing nearly 2 kilograms. X-ray fluorescence analysis confirmed its composition matched Spanish colonial gold from the 16th century. Then in 2020, during expansion of Mexico City's metro system, a second gold bar surfaced. These are just the pieces that happened to turn up. The bulk of the treasure, tons of gold, is estimated to be 5 to 10 meters below street level, and here's what makes this even more frustrating. Modern technology could find it. Ground-penetrating radar can detect metallic masses through soil. Magnetometers can sense the diamagnetic signature of large gold deposits. LiDAR mapping could trace the exact route of the causeway under modern streets. But you can't exactly shut down downtown Mexico City to dig. There's a strange historical footnote to this story. The soldiers who survived the Noche Triste were overwhelmingly the ones who dropped their gold. Bernal Díaz describes how men who stripped off their heavy loads could swim, fight, and run. The ones who clutched their treasure died in the water. Cortés himself lost everything that night, but he came back. 1 year later, with reinforcements, he besieged Tenochtitlan for 75 days. The city fell on August 13th, 1521. He eventually recovered some treasure, but never the gold lost on the causeway. Some historians believe the Aztecs themselves recovered portions of the treasure from the shallow lake in the days after the Noche Triste and hid it before the final siege. If that's true, there may be a second cache of gold somewhere in central Mexico, hidden by a civilization that was about to be destroyed. $500 million in gold lies beneath one of the largest cities on Earth. We know roughly where it is. We have the technology to find it. But the treasure that Cortez stole from the Aztecs and then lost to the lake may be the one fortune that nobody will ever recover. Not because it's impossible, but because 22 million people are living on top of it. If you want to know about the San Jose Galleon, a shipwreck worth $17 billion that Colombia and Spain are still fighting over, subscribe and hit the bell, and let me know in the comments. If you could search for any lost treasure on Earth, which one would it be?